Culture. It's one of the things that either make or breaks an organization, and we've seen some of the best football or sales organizations that got phenomenal cultures. They win championships and they win on a consistent level. And then we see teams with a bad culture and they struggle and they pit putter and they actually end up falling apart. So listen, if you want to learn about the 7 things that may be killing your culture that you're turning a blind eye to, tune into today's episode where we show you the 7 things that may be killing your culture, and we want to show you how to fix them. Listen, my name is Deshaun. I'm the owner and creator of Roof Hustlers. I fly around the country and I coach and train door-to-door sales team. We help them go from average to good, from good to great. Always keeping food on their plate, baby. Because if you do what we do, you know it's a jungle out here. Welcome back to another episode of Roof Hustlers, baby. And like I said, what we want to talk about today is the 7 things that may be killing your culture that you're turning a blind eye to, and we want to help you get ahead of them sooner than later so you don't destroy your organization and gotta start from zero. So without further ado, let's kick this thing started, baby. 7 culture killers that may be hurting your company.
I'm a hustler, man. I'm always getting off the muscle, man. Trying to make them hunters bust the rubber bands. Rain, sleet, hell or snow, I'm trying to get it in. Woo. I go door to door, stacking up them dollars like dominoes. I go door to door.
The first culture killer that I've noticed as I've been traveling around the country is you keep underperforming talent. So listen, you got guys on your sales teams that's barely getting by, they're not hitting quota, they actually under quota, right? But you keep them around, quote unquote, because you like them as people. And I wanna let you know, I know you think you're doing, like you're being a good person by keeping these people on your team, but in reality, you letting the other people know that, hey, I can underperform and still keep my job. And that is very detrimental to your culture, whether you believe it or not. In no organization, sports, sales, nowhere can you underperform and still stay on the team. Even some of the best players get traded and the worst players always gonna get cut. So I wanted you to ask yourself, are you keeping underperforming players on your team due to you like them as people? Or you just want to say you got a certain amount of salespeople on your team versus actually understand that quality is better than quantity? And I want to let you in on a little secret. Top performers, the last thing they want to do is be around underperformers. Why? It naturally drops the performance of everybody around them. So I just want to let you know, the first culture killer you may be battling with is you keeping underperformers on your team. And I know it hurts your heart to fire these people because you like them as people, but you got to be mindful. This is a money-making organization. This is a profitable organization. We need to have people on our team that's going to help us grow, help us get better so we can hit our sales goals. So that's the first one that you're battling with. You keeping underperformers on your team, and believe it or not, your salespeople notice it, and it's hurting your culture. The second culture killer that I've noticed as we've been traveling around the country is you have no consequences for bad behaviors. And one of my favorite coaches, Coach Michael Burke, taught me this principle. Where there's no consequences, there's no change. So you allow guys to show up late to work, right? You allow guys not to put notes in the system. You allow guys to talk to the office girls any type of way. You allow guys to wear what they want, do what they want. Like, they pretty much have free range. And a lot of owners in the industry, right, our industry, they believe in the 1099 mindset, which is they're technically not your employees, so they can do whatever they want to do. And I want to let you know, since your sales reps have no consequences, it turns it into a free-for-all. When it's a free-for-all, it's extremely detrimental to your company. Think about it. I used to work at Publix. If you came in late, 3 minutes late, and you did that 3 times in a week, they suspended you for a week. And I get it, we was their W-2 employees, but you gotta understand, these sales reps, they rocking your brand, they represent your company. Some of you guys, your company is your last name, so they represent your last name when they're going out into the public. So if you have no consequences for bad behavior, you are also starting to kill your culture. I trained a company before and guys would show up late. I said, so let's implement a locked door policy, which means if you showed up at least 5 minutes late, we locked the door. No matter how far you drove, you couldn't get into the company. It happened to 2 sales reps twice. After that, everybody started showing up on time. When I first got started in the industry, if you put your paperwork in late, they would take $25 off your commission. It happened to me personally twice. I got phenomenal at putting my paperwork in. So I want to let you know, think about this. When your guys have bad behaviors, do you have consequences for those bad behaviors? Or you just continue to let things slide? It's like a parent. If your kid is, acting up in school and you tell them you're going to reprimand them, but you never reprimand them, your kid going to keep doing the same thing. Why? They know you're not a parent of your word, and they know you just be talking. And that's how sales reps look at you guys as owners and sales managers. You just talk, you have no actions behind your words, so they keep doing the same thing they doing. And when other sales reps start to see that other people can get away with murder, it starts to sprinkle into your entire culture. So I want to let you know, if you don't got no consequences, you definitely ain't gonna have no change in your culture. So that's the second culture killer I've been noticing as I've been flying around the country. You have no consequences for bad behaviors because you're afraid to lose people. You can't run your company or your culture like that. You need to fix it. The third culture killer I've been seeing as I've been working with all of these awesome companies, right, is a lot of companies you don't do one-on-ones with your sales reps. And you're like, Deshaun, how is that a culture killer? Because if you're not sitting down with your sales rep individually, you don't really know what's going on in their life, right? What they really battling with, what they really struggling with. And if you are having one-on-ones, the thing I've learned, most people, their one-on-ones are all about numbers, how many doors you hit, how many deals you close, are you doing your follow-ups? That's not the type of one-on-ones I'm talking about. I'm talking about, let's figure out what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, what areas they're trying to improve in, what new skills they want to develop, and how can we create a path of personal development to help them get to this next level they're trying to get to. Also, in one-on-one settings, people feel safe enough to be vulnerable, to actually tell you what they need from you as a leader, as an owner, so they can really show up as the best version of them in your company. So the companies I've seen that don't do one-on-ones, their culture is dying. Why? Because it's a lot of things not being said. It's a lot of conversations that we aren't having, which means if they're not having the conversations with you, they're having them with other sales reps, which can potentially pollute your culture. So listen, if you're not doing one-on-ones, you're doing your culture a disservice, you're doing your sales reps a disservice. So that's another thing I've been seeing as I've been flying around the country that's been hurting a lot of companies and their culture is you don't allocate one-on-one time to actually see what your sales reps is actually battling with, so we can help them overcome those things, so we can help them step into the best version of themselves. So ask yourself, are you doing one-on-ones? And if you are they all about numbers or are they all about the person? And if they're about the numbers, you need to switch it to the person so we actually help them grow, help them get better, help the culture go to that next level.
You tired of working with that other trainer up the street? Where they give you more fluff than they give you heat? Well, come on down to the Best Hustler Academy, where we teach your guys all the strategies, tactics, and principles that they need to dominate their market and blow the competition out the water. Not only sales, but we got marketing combined. So you can be a two-headed monster and kill your market, guy. So listen, come on down to the Best Hustler Academy so we can take your team to that next level.
The fourth culture killer I've been seeing pretty consistently is you only do product training, you don't do sales training. So you have meetings or you have your guys come into the office and it's strictly you bring your GAF rep, your Orange Corner rep, your Atlas rep, whatever manufacturer you're using or whatever products you sell. You bring those guys into the office and you have them train your salespeople on products. And then nothing against those guys, but most of those guys never been in a home. They've never sold a roof. They've never had to actually deal with the objections that we deal with. So now you got people training on things that they haven't experienced and your sales reps aren't really learning how to actually sell the product. They're just learning about the product. And I want to let you know, as a sales reps, we hate it. We hate product training. Yeah, we need it sometimes, but we actually want sales training, strategies, tactics, and principles, how to tie people down, how to close them, how to help them buy expensive products, things like that. We look forward to the sales training that actually allows us to sell the products. So I want to let you know, if you're only doing product training, you're killing your culture. You're like, how is that killing my culture? I'm getting them training. Yeah, but they're bored. And they're in every single training thinking about what they're doing after this training. They're not fully engaged. They're not locked in. So you're actually hurting your culture by only providing them with products training and not actual sales training. And if you need some sales training, you already know what to do. Shoot us an email, Deshaun@roofhustles.com. We can get you on the schedule sooner than later. So ask yourself, are you training your sales team? And if you are you only talking to them about products? Or are you actually teaching them how to sell the product, not just be knowledgeable about the product? Because believe it or not, it's detrimental to your culture, especially if you're trying to create a high-performing sales team. The fifth culture killer I've been seeing as I consistently been working with these sales teams, you have no standards, no expectations. Which means guys can either bring in one deal, two deals, right? They can just do whatever they want to do, right? Long as they quote unquote producing. And you got to understand, most people will rise to your level of standards and your expectations. But some owners and sales managers that I meet, they say, Deshaun, 3 claims a week, 5 claims a week, man. What if they can't hit it? Well, if they can't hit it, maybe they don't cut it. So you got to start creating a standard or an expectation within your culture. Why? It's going to attract the right people. Like I said, top performers want to come join a culture where we focused on championships and performing at a high level. If you're an underperformer, you're not going to even want to join a sales team that's required, or the standard is to bring in 5 claims a week, or the standard is to do 120, 150,000 per month. I know some sales teams, their standard is, 30, 40 grand a month. Nothing wrong with that, but it's a pretty low standard. So you're going to get low performers. That's just how it goes. So you got to understand your standards, your expectation creates the results for your culture. So listen, ask yourself, do you have a standard? Do you have quotas? Do you have clear-cut expectations for your sales teams? Expectations like positivity only, no negativity. We never talk negativity down. If we have issues, we bring it up, which means we bring that to management so they can address it. No poison in the culture, which means no talking bad about other people, right? Or no cutting corners, no sending people out with people that's not doing well. What type of standards, what type of expectations do you have within your organization? Because that is one of the main things that forms and molds your culture. So listen, if you have no standards and you have no expectations, that also is a standard itself. So ask yourself, have you created the standards and expectations that you desire in your organization to make sure they're top performers? And if not, you need to create you some, because it's going to kill your culture in due time. The 6th culture killer that I've been seeing, and this one is very, very, very serious. It's a big deal. I like to call it leg cutting, right? What is leg cutting? You put people in charge, you give them authority, and then when they make decisions, sales reps go above them. They come to you as the owner or you as the leadership team, and you cut the legs of the guy that you put in charge. That right there kills your culture as a whole. It does 2 things. First thing it does, it allows that person in a position of leadership to realize that they really don't have any authority and they just a pawn in the game of chess. The second thing it does is it allows your sales reps to like, hey, this dude, he don't got no pull. He don't make decisions. We can just jump past him, right? And what does that do? It messes up the chain of command. So now you got people asking your sales manager questions, and he might give them an answer that they don't agree with. And since they don't like that answer, they just bypass him, go to you, and they get everything that they want. Once again, it's like parenting, right? If your kid asks dad, can he go outside? And dad like, no. So since he don't like dad answer, he go to mom and say, mom, can I go outside? And the mom say, yes. And the dad like, I just told him he can't go outside. That's cutting the legs from the other parent, right? So one thing you got to do as a leadership team is have a unified communication, which means whatever we say goes. Even if you don't like what that leader may have told that sales rep, you still support him. And then you guys have a private conversation about what's the best decision to make moving forward after that. So one of the most detrimental things to cultures is you leg cutting. You cut people's legs from under them. You don't allow them to be in the position of authority, the position of leadership. You just put them there to have a pawn in your game of chess. And when things don't go the way you want them to go, you just come in and you over-trump their decisions. And that right there kills your culture tremendously. So if you're doing that, you got to eliminate it. And last but not least, this one really grinds my gears. The 7th and final culture killer is you don't even meet with your sales team. You have remote meetings, or you meet once a month. You meet on Zoom and you think that's effective. I want to let you know, energy is real, right? And sales reps need to be around constant motivation, constant inspiration, and constant aspiration. Motivation, that's external. That's you getting them hyped up, music, videos, whatever it may be. Inspiration, that's you bringing the best out of them, helping them go internal to inspire themselves to go out there and achieve and hit their goals. And then aspirational, which means you need to be the example of who your sales team is thriving to be like. But in your meetings, you got to understand, you just can't come in and do checks and balances. You need to be educating them, teaching them something new, setting the path for the next week, or setting the path for the weekend or for the day. But you got to understand, meetings are crucial, and you got to make sure you come prepared to your meetings, because that's why sales reps hate coming to meetings, because you don't come prepared. You just sitting there and talk to them about the same thing. It's okay to send out a pre-email what the meeting's going to be about, so people got proper expectations. They know what they're stepping into. They're excited about the meeting. And meetings should be a place where people get better. They should grow. It's a place where they can be vulnerable. It's a place where we all come together with camaraderie. We lift each other up and we execute and go be great and hit our goals. So the teams I've seen that meet consistently, that have productive meetings, their teams thrive. And then I meet some companies, you meet with your sales team once a month, once every 2 weeks, and you wonder why they're underperforming. There's nobody holding them accountable. There's nobody to check in with. There's no mentorship. mentorship. There's no guidance because you can't get your guys to come into sales meetings. And I want to let you know, sales meeting, company meeting, don't matter what type of meeting, but you need to be meeting with your people at least once a week. If you really want to thrive, you do it twice a week. I've seen it. We used to meet on Tuesdays and Fridays, and we had a phenomenal high-performing sales teams. So it's a lot of companies I know you don't even meet with your sales teams, or you do it once a month, or you do it once every 2 weeks. And I want to let you know that's detrimental to your culture. And the main reason it's detrimental is people start to feel like they're alone. They feel like they're not a part of anything, and they start to drift and start to do their own thing. So ask yourself, do you even have meetings? And if you have meetings, are they productive and are they consistent? So listen, these are the 7 culture killers I've been noticing as I've been flying around the country. And if you take time to really analyze and think about these things, maybe you're not all 7, maybe you're just 3 of the 7, maybe 2 of the 7, maybe you're 1 of the 7, and maybe there's one thing that's killing your culture. And if you fix it, you can turn your entire organization around and create a phenomenal, thriving, successful, high-performing culture. So those are 7 culture killers. I hope you fix them sooner than later so you can create a phenomenal culture and you can thrive and y'all could be a $10, $15, $20 million company, which is what you after, right? So if you enjoyed today's tips, please leave us some comments down in the comment box. We do pay attention to those, right? If there's anything you want us to cover over here on Roof Hustlers, shoot us an email, Deshaun@roofhustlers.com. We do pay attention to those. Make sure you follow us on Instagram @Roof Hustlers, Facebook, Deshaun Bryan and Roof Hustlers as well, TikTok, Roof Hustlers also. Listen, we pay attention to all social media outlets. We love talking to you guys. Why? Because without you guys, we wouldn't be where we at, man. So listen, please reach out to us, talk to us. We love communicating with you guys. That allows us to create fresh content so we can keep serving the community and keep helping you guys go to that next level, right? So, as always, baby, hustle hard, hustle smart, and don't be afraid to bogart. Hustlers, bye-bye.